talk a little bit about, if you don't mind, some health issues.
Yeah.
You were still with Santa Lucia when your health, you found out that you were sick.
Right.
Correct? Walk me through that, or somebody that does not familiar.
Right. Okay. Well, everything was great up until obviously until I got sick. But we were, at the time, it was All-Star Weekend, and they changed the setup of the normal setup of the All-Star to allow the national team to practice, get some games in.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
So like the national team was set, and then we played against North and played against South, and I think they played against a team of imports that were here.
Mm-hmm.
So I played in the first game, and that night we went to eat, I think at, I don't know, the city hall or something like that out in Bacola. And later on that night, I just had this terrible cramp in my stomach. Like I couldn't shake it. And Mick Panisi was my roommate at the time. And I remember from about I felt weird. But then the next day, we had another game. And at halftime of that game, like I feel my stomach tightening up. And the halftime of that game, I couldn't even stand up anymore. Like I couldn't stand, like my stomach, it felt like my stomach was going to burst. I didn't know what was going on. So I didn't play the second half. They had a scheduled meet and greet or something. They just told me to go back to the room. So that was maybe around in the evening time. So from maybe 7 p.m. till about 4 a.m., it was every 5-10 minutes a trip to the bathroom. Waking up in cold sweats, chills. It was bad. So I texted the liaison at the time, like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. I need to go to a hospital. And I didn't want to go out there in the province or whatever. So the next morning they flew me out, and they treated me for dehydration at Asian Hospital. But then they checked my blood, and they found out that the assistant of the hematologist, the blood doctor, the assistant came in and said that my blood platelet level was at 6,000. Now, if you don't understand,
you probably didn't know what that meant.
Had no idea. So then she said, well, I'll say, well, what's normal? The normal is between 150,000 to 450,000. Mine was at 6. So it's like anything can happen. A bump, and if I bleed, like there's no way, and surgery or anything can stop it. So that freaked me out. So I ended up being in the hospital from that point for another 5 days. We did 2 blood transfusions. I was on IV and all these different types of medications and things to try to switch up. And every day was a blood test, no changes. So they put me on this steroid that I've been on ever since, which is a terrible drug. But yeah, That's pretty much the background of that.
Man, so this was in 2009. 9.
Yep.
So it's been 8 years. You missed a big part after that, right?
Yeah.
How long were you out
so
for?
I was in the hospital for 5 days. They diagnosed me for ITP. I don't even want to get into what it stands for, but basically has no known cause, no known cure at this point. And the doctor's suggestion to me was just to retire unless I want to be on this medication for a long period of time, which it is. I'm going on 8 years now being on this medication. But yeah, so he was telling me I should just stop playing altogether until this thing normalizes, and I couldn't accept it. Mm-hmm. This is just not even a year ago. I was made MVP, had was feeling at the top of my game. So
prime of your career.
Yeah, exactly. So I just couldn't accept it. So for the next 4 months, I was meeting with that doctor. I think every other day, multiple times a week. For the next 4 months, blood checks every other day. It was an intense little time, but finally we got something to kind of balance things out, my blood levels out, and he said, I can clear you maybe in a month, and we'll see how things go. And I ended up being cleared, but I mean, I was a totally different person by the time it
I
came
can
back around.
imagine it must have just it changes a lot when
Yeah.
physically something like that happens.
Yeah.
Now, is this like, how are you feeling now? I mean, you're still taking medication. Is that, I mean, how's your health right now?
Yeah. Well, the medication is at a lower dose. It's, you know, even when I speak to the different doctors back in the States, they're shocked that I've been on this for so long. Usually people are on this at a low dose, really low dose, like 0.5 or something like that. Older people. For someone at my age, considered young with this kind of condition, they said it. Yeah, they're shocked. So, but I'm at a lower dose now. I started at 100. Now I'm at about 10. But there's still the side effects. I don't like taking it, but I mean that's been my life now.
Mm-hmm.
So try to find a balance a little bit now. But I feel great. I found a way to work around it.
Okay.
Taking care of my body a little bit better.
How often do you have to see a doctor, like now, like to make sure that everything is?
It's not too often now.
Okay.
Not as often as before. I have a doctor that I kind of check in with every few months just to let them know and whatever. But I do get my blood checked. I try to get my blood checked every few months. So
Okay.
maybe every 3 or 4 months just to see where I'm at.
Okay, well, that was had to be a super rough time for you and your family,
Yeah.
and we're glad that you're healthier now and able to do what you love.
I
and
appreciate it. Yeah.
you're around.
I do.
That must be a crazy thing.
I appreciate the prayers and the thoughts and the concerns from guys like you and the other players that have expressed their concern for me over the years. I still have guys that come up to me after the games, telling me that asking me about how I'm doing, how my health is, praying for me. I'm like, man, that's crazy. It's been over almost 8 years, and I really appreciate that kind of stuff. It was rough at first, like I said. You really, when you go through something like that, you really get an idea of who your friends are, your eyes are open to that kind of stuff, the real people and people that you want to keep around you. So, I've been blessed that, I've made friendships over the years, through this struggle. And, like I said, I appreciate prayers and the concern from guys like you and the rest of the league and the league and also the fans. It's been awesome.